There was a lady across the street from our house. She actually recently just passed away, but we got a letter from her daughter, basically telling us all about the types of planes that she flew and how she got into aviation and how she was literally one of the only girls.
I was one of 3 girls there. Got to take a flight in a T1 at the Air Force Base, so I thought that was pretty cool.
And that's when it really hit me. Wow, I'm one of the girls that I used to look up to now.
All the female pilots that I work with or I see flying an airplane, I see wearing that uniform, they're all my inspiration, my role model, and Sling is like a family. I love Sling. Everybody is so welcoming, so nice, so helpful. We all help each other with everything, so I made the best choice.
Hey guys, it's Matthew from Sling Pilot Academy. Happy Women's History Month. With the month coming to an end, we sat down with a few of our female aviators to talk about how they got into aviation and what they're working on right now. Stay tuned to hear their stories.
Hi, my name is Sullivan Kolakowski and I'm working on IFR right now. I actually have my check ride tomorrow.
My name's Tatiana Martini and I'm working on my instrument rating right now. I just need a couple more hours. A couple more cross-country hours and then I can go for a check ride.
My name is Ornella Crizio and I'm working on check ride prep.
My name is Sage Main and I'm currently working on my instrument rating.
I think what originally sparked my interest in aviation was my dad got his private pilot's license and he would take me up for little joyrides as his passenger princess, and that's what really sparked my initial excitement.
I wanted to be a pilot since I was in about 6th grade. I grew up on Air Force bases because my dad's in the Air Force and he went to the academy. So I grew up around a lot of his friends that were pilots. I thought it was super cool. I got to go to all of their retirements where they did the flyovers and everything, and I thought it was super interesting. And then in 6th grade, I was the only girl in my planes, trains, and automobiles club in Germany. And then once I got back to the States, I joined Civil Air Patrol, and it just kept going from there.
I always dreamed of planes and working for aviation, but it was impossible in Albania because that's where I'm from. So moving to America and working as a flight attendant, it was the closest that I could get to this dream. And until finally one day, after talking to so many pilots there, I was encouraged and inspired to pursue this dream, and here I am.
My dad is a Southwest pilot, and my grandfather was a World War II pilot, and so I guess it's kind of just in the blood. I guess nothing really ever inspired me, I kind of just always knew. 2nd grade, I think I knew I wanted to be a pilot, and then 5th grade I wanted to be a fighter pilot, and it was kind of just my entire life I knew that I wanted to fly airplanes. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but aviation was my general goal. That's what I wanted to do when I grew up.
So before Sling, I was actually in high school. I came to Sling straight out of high school. I'd say it was pretty similar to college. I had pretty good study habits in high school, so I just carried them with me here.
I was in Civil Air Patrol for 5 years, so I did a bunch of flight camps through them. They're kind of similar to a ROTC program. So I did that for 5 years, and then I took a year off and I moved to California and did a year of Arizona State online, and then I found out about Sling from my neighbors, so I took a discovery flight and I signed up the next week. Honestly, Sling was very open environment. Everyone was very friendly. I was a homeschooled kid for a while, so going to high school was crazy for me because I'd never been around that many people. That was a lot harder, and then I got to Sling and everybody was super friendly. We all had the same interests. It was a lot more fun and it was an easy transition, and everybody here was just so nice.
Sling is like a family. I love Sling. Everybody is so welcoming, so nice, so helpful. We all help each other with everything, so I made the best choice.
Before Sling, I was in high school. I just graduated this summer. So my transition was kind of like senior in high school to right into a career path. I'm kind of just jumping right into my career, which I couldn't be happier about. It's what I've been wanting to do forever, and yeah, it happened pretty fast, but I'm glad it did. I never really liked high school. I never liked schoolwork because it just wasn't something that I was interested in. There was definitely a lot of schoolwork, and it was kind of like busy work I felt like I didn't really need to do. It kind of felt like a waste of time. And then coming here to Sling, it's, working on different ratings and, different certificates. If you want to do it and if you're passionate about it, then you'll get it done, trust me.
It's really funny that you asked that actually, because I had an opportunity a week ago to take one of my church friends up on a flight, and after the flight, we were getting out of the plane and she looked at me and she said, that was so cool, I want to be just like you. And that's when it really hit me, like, wow, I'm one of the girls that I used to look up to now. So that was when I felt really empowered.
Honestly, I would say it was in high school when I got into a flight camp. There was only 20 people chosen out of 20,000 applicants to go to this flight camp in Texas, and I was one of 3 girls there, which was a little overwhelming, but it was pretty cool to be one of the couple people that was there and one of the youngest. So I thought that was pretty fun, and being able to score like top of your test there. I got to take a flight in a T1 at the Air Force Base, so I thought that was pretty cool.
I don't have the experience yet, but maybe I would say just encouraging other friends and females already. I can see that.
I think actually a few weeks ago, when I just got my private pilot's license, I took up my first passenger. I took my dad, and he's a Southwest pilot. We flew to Palm Springs to go check out this museum there. We were walking through the museum, and there was like, I think 4 workers in one of the hangars. They were fixing up this old World War II bomber. My dad kind of came over to them and asked, like, hey, you guys fixing this thing up? And they're like, yeah. We started talking, and they asked us what we were doing out here. And my dad kind of looks over at me and he goes, well, she flew me here. And at first they were like, oh, okay, cool. And they're like, wait, you flew him here? You know, I think the look on these guys' faces were just like, looking at me as the future of aviation was just really special to them because I'm, you know, a 19-year-old girl. So that felt really special to me. And my dad went home and told my entire family about it because he just thought it was so cool.
I love Lauren Sanchez. I think she's really cool. I'd say my real inspiration though is a few years back I had an opportunity to meet an astronaut named Deanne Chester, and I was sitting there in the conference room. I was the only female in the room, and when she walked in, that made 2 females in the room. And as soon as she walked in, everyone went silent. She outranked everyone, she out-accomplished everyone, and that was really inspiring to see that.
Peggy, she was one of the first females in combat in the military, and I know her personally. I won a flight scholarship from the Women Military Aviators about a month and a half ago from them, and I got to talk to her on the phone for a while, and she is a part of like a really cool group of people that were all military aviators and women, and they come together and they offer scholarships every year through the Women in Aviation group. And I think that she's just super inspirational because she was actually awarded a medal, and then they saw that she was given it and they're like, you couldn't have got this because you're not supposed to be in combat, but she was there, and her whole group of people had to come back and be like, no, she was here with us, she won this medal, and then she got given it back. But they basically handed it to her and then took it back and told her she couldn't have it because they just didn't believe that she could have done that. So I think that she's a pretty cool person, and like knowing her personally feels like a really awesome experience to have.
All the female pilots that I work with or I see flying an airplane, I see wearing that uniform, they're all my inspiration, my role model, and I can't separate any of them. They're all great.
I live in student housing here at Sling, and there was a lady across the street from our house that was the first female pilot in the Reno Air Races. She actually recently just passed away, but we got a letter from her daughter, basically telling us all about the types of planes that she flew and how she got into aviation and how she was literally one of the only girls. It was just like this incredible story about her becoming this like incredible aviator and, you know, building her own planes and racing them against, you know, mostly other men at the time. It was like, you know, back in World War II days. I just kind of aspired to be like her. She was independent, she was on her own, but she loved it and was passionate about it, and obviously she didn't let anybody tell her that it was wrong or that she wasn't good enough or wasn't, you know, capable enough. She flew everything. I remember reading there was a list of all the planes that she flew, and it was just like a whole page.
I think in the year 2024, it's definitely more welcoming to women in the aviation community. I can't speak so much as to the industry because I'm fairly new. I've never been faced with any double standards or pushbacks as a female. If anything, I've been like super welcomed here and like really helped out a lot. And I would say I definitely get more Bravo clearances than my male counterparts, because when they hear like a little girl voice on the radio, they're like, oh, sure, you're cleared through the Bravo. Yeah, so if anything, I'd say it's been a perk.
I actually wrote a paper on this for my English class last semester of how Sling is more inclusive with the amount of like women and minorities that they have here, because I visited other flight schools before and it would be like I was the only female there. There was no female instructors or anything. I don't know if it's maybe California schools or if it's just Sling alone, but I thought that there was a lot more women here that were in teaching positions that I thought was really cool, because I've never had that before. It was always a male pilot teaching me things, so I thought that was pretty cool at Sling. Even though I know that the aviation world, we still have less than 10% are women, so hopefully that'll change in the future. I want to own a flight school one day that's just for women to maybe help out with that.
I think it's great. We're definitely building a stronger generation as leaders, powerful females, and independent, so I like it. It's a new generation.
Walking onto a flight or walking through the airport and seeing, female pilots, I think it kind of makes everyone stop in their tracks. I know it has made me stop in my tracks many times, because it's just so cool to see a woman operating this insane machine just through the sky. It's just incredible. For anyone to be doing that, it's incredible. But seeing a woman kind of really, really come into that and, do it as careers, it's amazing, and I can't wait to be a part of it. Yeah.
You're already a part of it.
I already am a part of it, but until I get to bigger airplanes and stuff, that's gonna be pretty cool too.
So I've never faced any setbacks because I'm a female, but I have faced some challenges. After my solo, I had to push the plane back myself, and let me tell you, that 1,320 pounds does add up. It was really hard to push it back. And some of these taxiways are on a slope, so it was like, ugh. No one told me when I first joined that you physically had to push the plane yourself. So I would say that is my greatest setback, pushback.
I think that it's always going to be a little bit there, being like a woman in aviation, because you go to a group and they assume that you're not going to be a pilot, you're somebody's boyfriend, girlfriend, your boyfriend's at the school or something like that. For a lot of other places here, nobody's assumed that, but going to other places, they didn't necessarily think that I was the one into aviation. Like if I went somewhere with my dad or one of my friends, they assumed I just got dragged along as the girl that didn't want to be there. But people kind of have a assumption that if there's a man and a woman there, the man wanted to be there and the woman was just kind of dragged along for that. Honestly, at Sling, I've never had anybody assume something like that. It's more of people that don't know me, and they're like the old schools that might have been around for the last 30 years and there wasn't very many women at them. They have more of those assumptions. So honestly, I feel pretty good being at Sling, and I haven't gotten very many of those recently at the events that I've attended.
I have not. I definitely have been very lucky to have come across everyone that is very encouraging and helpful. So I have not had any issues.
Yeah, I think there were times throughout high school where people would ask me what I was doing after high school. And, everyone's usual route is, I'm gonna go to college. And I would tell boys my age and, boys in my classes and, other girls in my classes too, that I was wanting to go be a pilot and go to flight school. And they some of them were like, wow, that's amazing. And I've had definitely a few people kind of tilt their heads and be like, well, where do you even start with that? And I kind of laid it out to them. I'm like, well, I'm going to this place called Sling and they're gonna get me through, and I'm gonna go be a pilot. I could tell they had their doubts, but I didn't. That's kind of how I overcame it. I knew that I could do it and I knew that I was capable. And especially Sling making it so accessible and Sling making it so easy, I had no doubts. And I didn't care if other people did. So that's kind of the key to it. Just believe in yourself and don't listen to what other people have to say.
I think we have a long way to go still, so I don't think I can answer that one quite yet, because we are only 4%, or about 4% of commercial pilots. I think just showing up and just going after it is changing, the future is shaping it, because just as a girl looking up to other female pilots, it's really important to see another woman in the cockpit.
There's a large untouched group of people that just don't know about aviation that are women, because it's not brought to our attention as much. Like growing up, people don't reach out to you and you're like, hey, do you want to be a pilot? They assume that you want to do other things. You want to do hair, you want to do nails, stuff like that. And I think that if there was more opportunities and they felt more accepted, like a female flight school or having more female instructors, that there's a lot of people who just haven't learned about aviation, and so there's so many people that could come into this industry that are just unaware of it. So it's a large, like, untouched group of people who could work here.
Like I mentioned before, I think we're definitely creating and building a stronger female generation as leaders, powerful, independent, chasing their dreams and becoming who they want to be.
I don't know. I think we bring this sort of light to the industry. It's a good energy. There's just a whole new vibe to it, I feel like, and it's a good one.
I think it's really important to highlight females in the cockpit so then other girls like myself who are watching them have someone to look up to.
I think that it's a really good thing to have a whole month for it and to highlight those women who have done really well in their careers, because you just don't hear about it as often, because there are fewer women in aviation and in other like STEM related fields and stuff like that. There's less than 10% of female pilots in the airline. So being able to have a whole month where they're highlighted and brought to attention by these companies and these schools shows other younger women and girls that, hey, there are those role models that you can look up to that look like me and like grew up with those same stereotypes and they made it. So I think it's a really good opportunity to show other women that we are in the industry and we can accomplish just as much.
I think the more we talk about it, the more we bring it up, the more other people can get inspired and see this and go for it themselves, yeah.
You know, women in aviation, it's pretty new. And that's not a bad thing. I think it's a really, really good thing. And I think it's really good that people see that and people appreciate it. I don't know, just shine some light on it because it's special and it's awesome.
I want to be a captain one day. I want those 4 stripes. And I think it's really important for other girls to keep showing up and keep representing so then we can get more 4-striped females in the cockpit.
So I'm planning on getting my commercial license and then maybe being able to fly as an instructor on weekends, but I'm also joining ROTC this fall and signing up for our Air Force ROTC, and I want to hopefully get a pilot slot for them as well and do a 15-year contract and then go to the airlines when I get out of the Air Force. And then my long-term goal is to own a school for women and to offer scholarships so that it's easier to get more women into the industry without those blocks of people telling you that you can't do it. So that would be my end goal, is to have an all-women's flight school.
Okay, I have 3. I want to work for United Airline as a pilot. I want to fly back home to Albania as a pilot. And maybe I can open a Sling there and then teach all the new girls, and actually everyone, but mostly girls, how to fly. So yeah.
After I finish here at Sling, I want to go be an airline pilot for a major airline. My dad's a Southwest pilot, so my main goal is to fly with him one day. Being the one that people see in the cockpit one day is gonna be the most rewarding thing to me. And especially young girls to kind of see me sitting there, because when I get to the airlines, I'll still be young. It doesn't matter what age you are, within reason, but it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. It's, you know, it's kind of just a career that's sitting, waiting with open arms.
It's been a little rainy lately. The weather's not been super great, but it's improving now, so I'm getting all my flight hours. So it's been pretty fun. When I do get to fly, the California weather is just really unpredictable lately.
It has been the best thing, seriously. Everyone is helpful. I love our planes. I think we have the best planes. And the community is great. We are all about teamwork, helping each other, and everyone is a cheerleader for everybody.
Really good. I just got my private pilot's license on my 19th birthday, and right now I'm working on my instrument rating, which I surprisingly love. Everyone told me oh my gosh, instrument rating is so hard, but I love it. I think it's so much fun. Yeah, it's going really well. I have my first phase check for my holds and arcs phase check on Friday. Sling is definitely getting me through. I'm very impressed. And not only am I impressed with Sling, I'm impressed with myself. They've showed me how capable I am and showed me how doable all of this is and how possible it is. And I just can't believe it's actually happening and it's actually real. Very, very exciting and rewarding.
I really like a lot of the girls. I'm close with all of the girls. We got together for Valentine's Day. We did a Just a Girls tea party event with all the girls here, and All the instructors that are women are really sweet and they'll have really good advice for you. So I think it's a really good community of women that they have here as students and as instructors.
Here at Sling, I have met some of the closest female friends that are inspiring me to even become a better pilot. Seeing their success, also my other classmates, seeing how hard they work. We're inspiring each other, we are helping each other on face check rides, cross-country planning, anything. They're my role model. I try to be somebody else's role model, and I think we have the best female community here, and I'm just so lucky to have met each of them.
Every girl I know here is like my best friend, I feel like. I mean, everybody here in general, we have this mutual understanding of each other. Other women and other people in general that have done the same thing. It's comforting, and you don't feel alone in this. It's just kind of like we're all in this together. Aviation is such a small industry, and I kind of know that these are the people I'm gonna know forever, and I'm gonna run into at the airport 5 years from now, and I'm just glad it's good people.
Just go for it. You know, in the year 2024, it's super welcoming to women, so the only thing that's gonna hold you back is yourself.
I would say just look for all the opportunities you can and don't be discouraged if people think that you can't win them or you're not there for the aviation related event or that it's your boyfriend's choice. Make sure that you just keep going, because there are opportunities there. There's the Women in Aviation group. I would 100% recommend joining that organization, and they have a ton of flight scholarships and opportunities and really cool women that you get to talk to being in that group. So attending their events, they have Women in Aviation days. I went to one in Compton a couple months ago. Joining and finding those other women in it that can help pull you through when people are maybe making assumptions that you're not gonna make it or you're not aiming as high as other people.
I would say go for it. If that's your dream and if that's in your heart, you have to chase that, because there is nothing more beautiful and powerful than chasing your dream and becoming a role model for everybody else, and just becoming that independent, strong, powerful woman, all of those things that I listed above as well. I think it's beautiful.
I say do it. It's very special, and it's much more than a career. I feel like it's much more than a job. It's a reward to be able to, you know, fly through the sky. You know, who else gets to do that really? I'd say for young girls and women in general wanting to get into aviation, just know that it's more than a job, and it's more than a hobby. It's a reward, and it's a gift, and it's something very, very special that I wish everybody could experience.
Thanks for watching. Unfortunately, we couldn't fit all of our female aviators in here. They just gave too many good answers and the video would have been too long. But make sure to like and subscribe to see any videos in the future that would include our female aviators. Thanks for watching.
Just keep telling me so I can fix it. We need to have like perfect hair.
On a discovery, not a discovery, sorry,